Alright, we have a tiny little update video here. It's probably going to be like a 5-minute one. Just a few tiny little things that I've done here and there to progress this a little bit. Been kind of dividing my time with this and the mini sub that I've been trying to finish up as well. I've also got a new little outro, which I'm going to try out, including things like my Discord boosters and challenge winners. Yeah, so I think that's going to be cool. Let me know what you think, and we'll get into going over some of the changes on this. Yeah, so a couple of little things that I've changed here and there. I've written some of them down, but I might be repeating myself a little bit here. Hopefully not. Hopefully my notes don't lead me astray. But we got door buttons. So now the doors can open and close from the outside, and those are just hidden deep under here. I do think that I already went over that, but we also... we'll go ahead and turn on the lights here and close that. We also have the other door working now, which is not as used, but it's here now and it works, and the button is still over here, same kind of spot. So we'll go ahead and climb back up here and close that. There we go. And another cool little thing, we got emergency doors. So we'll go ahead and no clip out here. These little doors, they actually work now, which I think is pretty cool. I really wanted to make them work, so I'm pretty happy that I did. Now, they don't take up, I had to kind of, not compensate, I don't know the word. I'm blanking on my word. We're going to miss that, never mind. But I had to compromise, that's the word I'm looking for, on the door and making it functional and look good. So the actual length of what the emergency door should be is not actually what it is, because obviously we have the baggage compartments up here. So I couldn't really make that work. And there's one on each side, so we can go ahead and do this. And then you push it on open, and there we go. We have a little gap, and that's big enough for you to crawl out of. And it makes a nice little window here so you can actually see. So that's definitely big enough for people to get out of and all of that. I would have liked to see it a little bit bigger, but again, I can't really make it any higher than it already is. So we're just going to have to live with that, and I think it looks good as well. Another kind of devastating thing that I did is I deleted my anti-ice controller on this, which was a bit of a pain in the ass because that connected all of my controls in the entire thing, and it's kind of spread out across all of this logic, going through the hydraulics and everything like that. So it was kind of like a spider web, and I really didn't want to do anything about it to fix it, so I was going to have to remake it. But luckily our dearest Pengu had a version from whenever he tried landing in it, so I didn't lose any of my progress, which is really nice, because that would have saved me probably 2 days of building, which is great because that would have really kind of discouraged me from the project. But yeah, another thing, the elevator now kind of starts down, and whenever we start to pick up speed, it actually goes up, which is very realistic. So just one of those other little kind of features that I've added to make it a little bit more real. These screens are all still the same. We can go ahead and turn on the battery. Jack is working really well on these, and they're coming together really nicely. I've got a final list of things that I kind of have to go through and finish up on this to make it done. It's getting pretty close. It's not too far off. I've got maybe like 10 things that I have to go through and do. So yeah, we'll see. Enzo Cats, I don't know if any of you know him, but he tried flying my plane too. We had a good little hangout and flew each other's planes a little bit. And yeah, so some pretty cool stuff there. And we also have this new mode because he said the sensitivity was a little bit high too. However, I still disagree, and it definitely takes a little bit to get used to, but it works whenever you do get used to it. Yeah, it kind of needs to be high because it does actually have wingtip stalls, which are cool, but can be kind of inconvenient if you're just wanting to fly around and not hear the bank angle warning the entire time, like you heard if you watched the video with Pengu landing. Yeah, so I'm going to add this, which is bitch mode, or Pengu mode. So that will add an auto clamp to the roll, so that you can't basically put it into a wingtip stall. Yeah, so that is going to be there for anybody, which is lame, but I'm going to put it there just so I kind of avoid some of the horrible comments that it'll get. And this will probably dodge being one of my most disliked builds ever if I add that, which I think is a good thing. A couple other things that I have is the landing gear lights work. We also have increased reference speed, so if I'm coming in too slow basically, and I'm in my landing configurations, basically my flaps are below I think 0.2. And my landing gear is down, it'll start yelling at me to increase my speed if I'm below 117, which is pretty low. It's a little bit higher than you basically are coming out of the sky, but it's good enough. It's just meant to kind of be a warning to tell you, which it does. I don't have an actual alarm for it, it's just a light. I might put a little alarm in it, that would probably be a good idea. I don't have any audio warnings right now. That will change. Yeah, we also have parking brake pressure. So that is a number now, and that goes up and down if you have the parking brake on or off, which is kind of cool. And this light kind of cycles through some stuff whenever your gear is coming up. We can do that real quick if we want. I'll just get it started up real quick. Alright, so we have got it up and moving. We'll go ahead and take off here. I'll take a look at that elevator too so you guys can see it fold up. And there we go. We might not take off on center line just because I'm looking at it. Yep, there it goes. So now it's coming up that we've picked up speed. And again, this has a very high takeoff speed. I think it's like 120. And then we're off. Yeah. So there we go. I've shown this thing taking off and landing quite a few times now. So we'll go ahead and gear up. You can see it doing its thing. And they're all up. Which is good. And we know we have no faults because I can occasionally get stuck. But it's not too bad. It's angling a little bit. I've got a demo for the bitch mode. And it just adds a little bit of trim, which is an issue, which I have to fix. And then the gear down. There we go. Front nose and... there we go. So those are actually all accurate, so they do work with connectors and distance sensors and all of that to make sure where your gear is at and that it's actually coming down, which is pretty important. I think I showed this last time, but we do have gravity gear or the alternate doors, which open up everything. I think I've gotten a good amount of detail in there. I'm going to still paint it and a little bit more paint detail in there with paintable signs, but I think that's pretty good. That's about the best I can get. This takes up a surprising amount of room in there, so I can't do too much without getting a ton of phantom forces, unfortunately, but I think it's pretty good. It doesn't look like it's just hanging there, which I absolutely hate. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good. The front gear I have to do too. I also don't have a connector on the nose. There's a couple people in my Discord. I know Sniff and Jack are making some ground vehicles to go with this, which is super cool. So we'll be showing those off as well whenever they come in. Oh, damn it. We'll go ahead and get that there, and alternate gear. There we go. Now we go ahead and do gear up. Perfect. I'm glad that didn't break. I didn't know if that was going to work or not. But yeah, so they're making some really cool ground vehicles. We got a little like forklift with baggage. We've also got a couple of little like baggage carts, and I think they can be used for a few different things, but those are going to be really cool, and we'll definitely make sure to show those off. They look really well done too. So yeah, obviously if you guys want, feel free to make some ground vehicles for it. That just makes the whole thing a lot cooler. Getting a whole kind of fleet of Air Greenland things would be pretty neat. But yeah, so we'll end it there. Thanks for watching, guys, if you made it all the way to the end, and stay tuned for more updates on this plane and my Narco sub coming out hopefully soon.